What if I told you? There are football stadiums so dangerous, players literally whisper prayers before stepping onto the pitch. Not because of the opponents, but because the stadium itself might cripple them. We're not talking about broken seats or bad toilets. These are death traps where the grass hides concrete cracks that snap ankles, the stands could collapse under your weight, or the air is so toxic, players pass out mid-game. This isn't some horror movie plot. These are real stadiums that still exist today. In this video, we're going to uncover the 7 most dangerously designed football grounds where players literally risk their lives every time they step onto the pitch. And the scariest part? Many are still being used right now, from a stadium that's killed over 300 fans to a pitch so deadly it was banned by FIFA. These aren't just bad stadiums, they're accidents waiting to happen. And today, we're counting down all 7. Based on official injury reports, player testimonies, and shocking undercover footage. But before we get to number 1, the most dangerous stadium still in use today, make sure you're subscribed. Because what you're about to see will change how you see the beautiful game forever. When stadiums become weapons, every match is Russian roulette. Number 7, the concrete killer, Estadio Nacional, Lima, Peru. May 24, 1964. A crucial Olympic qualifier, Peru versus Argentina. One controversial referee call lit the spark, but the real killer wasn't anger. It was concrete, steel, and a stadium built like a tomb. As frustration exploded in the stands, thousands surged toward the exits. But they found only locked gates. Panic turned into a stampede. Old railings snapped like twigs. Bodies piled on bodies. The terraces weren't stands anymore. They were traps. There were no emergency exits, no safety plan, just 10-foot walls and stairwells that became slaughterhouses. The air vanished as the crowd crushed forward. When silence finally returned, 328 people were dead. Not from violence, from design. Players stood frozen on the pitch, surrounded by chaos. Argentine striker Luis Suarez later said, "We stepped over bodies where goals had been celebrated minutes earlier. The beautiful game had turned into a nightmare, and yet, just weeks later, the stadium reopened, blood scrubbed clean, paint hiding the past. But nothing changed. No redesign, no rethinking. Just business as usual." Today, there's a small plaque near Gate 13. It reads, "Never forget." But how can you forget what's still there? The same stairwells, the same exits, the same trap. Estadio Nacional still hosts matches, still fills with cheers. But the walls remember, and the concrete still waits. Number 6, the Oven, Khalifa Stadium, Qatar. What if you had to play the biggest football match of your life in an oven? That's exactly what happened to World Cup players at Qatar's Khalifa Stadium. While fans enjoyed perfect air conditioning in the stands, the pitch became a 52 degrees Celsius or 125 degrees Fahrenheit death trap. Hot enough to melt shoes. Hot enough to cook steaks. Players suffered horrifically. Many lost 8 kilograms or 17 pounds of sweat during games. That's like carrying 2 watermelons, then sweating them all out. Team doctors were busier than the coaches, rushing ice baths onto the field to save overheating players. The worst part? This wasn't an old broken-down stadium. This was a brand new $360 million state-of-the-art arena built specifically for the World Cup. The cooling system worked perfectly, but only for the VIP boxes, not for the players. Even after dozens of athletes collapsed on camera, organizers didn't fix the problem. Their solution? Play at night, when it's only 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Still 10 degrees above FIFA's own safety guidelines. It's like using a broken oven, but just turning the temperature down a little. Former player Jan Vertonghen said, We weren't footballers out there, we were survivors. When stadiums care more about looking fancy than keeping players alive, the beautiful game turns ugly. And guess what? They're still using this stadium today. Number 5. The Butcher's Pitch, Stade de la Licorne, France. Playing football where the grass can cut you like a knife isn't a myth. That's the horrifying reality at this French stadium, where players discovered their artificial turf was hiding razor-sharp blades. It began when a goalkeeper suddenly screamed in pain. Doctors found a 4-centimeter metal shard buried deep in his knee. It had sliced straight through his muscle. Then it happened again and again. 3 players in one season needed emergency surgery after the grass cut them open. Investigators made a shocking discovery. The turf was rotting away, exposing sharp metal wires underneath. Even worse, the stadium had ignored 12 warnings to fix it. Team doctors were furious, calling the pitch a death trap. You'd think they'd shut it down. Wrong. After just 2 weeks for repairs, they simply rolled out new turf over the same dangerous base. Players now check the pitch for metal after every rainstorm. One striker told us, "We don't slide tackle here unless we want to leave our skin on the pitch." This isn't an abandoned field. It's still hosting matches today. Players call it the butcher's shop, and every game feels like walking through a minefield, where the ground itself wants to hurt you. Number 4. The Toxic Swamp, Estadio Jalisco, Mexico. After 10 minutes, your lungs burn like you inhaled fire. That's how players describe Mexico's most dangerous pitch, a stadium built on top of a toxic waste dump. When the ground heats up, poisonous gases bubble through the turf, turning matches into chemical warfare. The death zone. Players collapse from methane poisoning. Goalkeepers report blackouts. Oxygen tanks line the sidelines. In 2018, 3 players were rushed to hospital after a visible green gas cloud formed during a match. Tests showed hydrogen sulfide levels 15 times above safe limits, enough to kill a child. The solution? Officials just opened the gates to air it out, then restarted the game 30 minutes later. The stadium's dark secret? It was illegally built over a chemical plant. Government reports say the entire area is contaminated, but club owners bribed inspectors. Players who complained got benched. Fans were told the strange smells were due to humidity. Why is it still open? One word: money. This stadium hosts 50,000 paying fans every week. The club's owner famously said, "If the players die, we'll buy new ones." Groundkeepers now spray air freshener before matches. Players wear hidden oxygen sensors. The most damning fact? Visiting teams now insist on contract clauses, allowing them to forfeit if the air turns green again. And FIFA still allows international matches here. Number 3. The Killer Terraces, Hillsborough Stadium, England. The screams started 6 minutes after kickoff. The 1989 FA Cup semi-final became one of football's darkest moments. The Leppings Lane stand wasn't just unsafe, it was a time bomb. How did this design kill 97 people? Crush barriers from the 1920s snapped like twigs. Police herded fans into overflowing pens. Exit gates were locked to prevent pitch invasions. People were packed so tight they died upright. Newspapers blamed drunk fans. Police altered 164 witness statements. It took 27 years, and Britain's longest ever inquest, to learn the truth. 41 victims had heartbeats when carried past idle ambulances. The youngest victim, 10-year-old John Paul Gilhooly, was crushed. Every death was ruled unlawful killing. Those terraces still host matches. Visitors report hearing phantom screams. And just miles away, 3 other stadiums still use the same deadly design. This isn't football history. This is football's shame. Number 2. The Glass Killer, Luzhniki Stadium, Moscow. Russia's showpiece for the 2018 World Cup hides a deadly secret. Crushed glass mixed with the turf, they call it the glass pitch. Groundskeepers used glass shards with sand to improve drainage. The result? Goalkeepers needed stitches. Midfielders found glass in their knees. Youth players hospitalized after sliding tackles. In 2021, doctors removed a 2-centimeter glass sliver from Quincy Promes' thigh. It had traveled 5 centimeters through his muscle. Lab tests confirmed it came from stadium infill. Despite 17 formal complaints during the World Cup, no inspections. Russia awarded the 2025 Champions League final. Other stadiums copied the glass mix. Why? Money and politics. One official said, "Our workers must have dropped vodka bottles. This isn't negligence, it's institutionalized violence." And finally, the #1 most dangerous stadium ever built. The Slaughterhouse, Azteca Stadium, Mexico City. Mexico's Azteca Stadium holds the darkest record in football. More players have died here than at any other ground. Why? Altitude. At 2,240 meters, that's over 7,300 feet, oxygen is dangerously thin. The consequences? Permanent brain damage after 90 minutes. Heart attacks in athletes under 30. 17 players have suffered life-altering strokes. Doctors say players get 20% less oxygen to the brain. The result? Hallucinations, collapsed lungs, death hours after the match ends. FIFA knew. Their 2013 report called Azteca medically unsafe. But today, it's set to host the 2026 World Cup. Players are forced to sign altitude waivers. TV networks love the dramatic collapses. In the locker rooms, you'll find oxygen tanks labeled emergency use only, charts showing cognitive decline. A memorial plaque updated each year. This isn't football. It's televised torture. And every time FIFA approves another match here, they sign someone's death warrant. These stadiums were built for glory, for cheers, for memories. But somewhere along the way, they became something else. Places where the game turned against its own players, where profit mattered more than safety, where the pitch itself became the enemy. Which of these stadiums do you think is the most dangerous in the world? If you liked the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one.